potential and actual, agricultural productivity. Now, let's dive into the key areas that we might want to focus on. Agricultural development is one, private partnerships is another, challenges and opportunities is the three major aspects to look at it. But what are the significant achievements in Nigeria's agricultural development over the past 26 years if you were to adjudge or put your voice in it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, Nigeria is a project that is ongoing,
right,
and it's worth making the commitment that we can as an individual. And I'm not speaking as a spokesperson of the government, but I'm going to speak as a Nigerian too. I am able to say that I am what I am today by the grace of God, by the effort I've been able to put into agriculture. I said some times ago when I was on this program, was it last week or thereabout, or this week, I said, I read political science. And ideally, somebody will ask me, why do you venture to agriculture? Now, I discovered that. Now, if Nigeria as a nation must do well, if we must be where we are supposed to be, agriculture has to play a key role in our developmental stride. And that is why I made up my mind that I'm not going to work for anybody. It is better I pick up my hoes and cutlass, and that was how I started in the reasons of it.
Right.
I pick up my own and cutlass and I go to the farm, and I started at a very, very ridiculous.
Forgive me for butting you now. Let's see how we can hear. Hello, are you there? Hello? Okay, well, do well to call back and join the discourse. Well, you already said you started from a tender age. You didn't even study agricultural sciences or agricultural engineering, if there's anything like that. It was pole science.
That was how I actually trained.
My goodness.
Like I said, by the grace of God, I've gotten different certification in modern agriculture, both both crops and livestock. But let me make this very clear. Why I am on that rhetoric is the fact that agriculture is worth it. Is something that is worth investing in. I'll be mentioning that. Now, if you ask me, the journey so far in this last 26 years of our democracy, what have we been able to achieve? What has the government? What have they done to impact the life of Nigeria? Number one, I'm able to tell you that in this last 26 years of our uninterrupted democracy, we've had different policies. And we should give kudos to the government for that. Somebody asked me, it's obvious that Nigeria has the power to formulate good policies, of course, but the area of implementation becomes a challenge, and that again is not limited. This is we've had reason to have what is called Agricultural Promotion Council. This is a body that promotes agricultural activity all across the 36 states of Nigeria and the FCT, and we can directly see their impact in every part of this country. Are we there? No. Number two, we have the reason to have a policy, to formulate a policy that was tagged, River Basin Development Authority. River Basin Development Authority. This agency of government today has thousands upon thousands of unused acres of land, hectares of land. Let me be specific. Hectares of land that are not used. Now, why did the government come up with this kind of policies? Because somebody will ask me, somebody will tell you that the government is not doing anything. Of course.
Right.
We are not there. But today, there's reason for Nigeria to celebrate. See, it is not just having the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the Aso Villa that make what democracy is today. There are men and women that paid with their lives. There are men and women that laid their life down for what we are enjoying today. And that is why we must not allow the death of these ones to just go unnoticed, unrecognized. And that is why, if as a nation, if we must move forward, there is reason for us to have what I call massive investment in agriculture. I've said it time without number. There is no nation of the world that don't in one way or the other subsidize for its citizen. If today subsidy is being removed from the petroleum sector, what is it called? Then there is need for us to have an alternative. And the right alternative for Nigeria to move forward is the agriculture. And I'm saying this directly to those who are in the corridor of power today. I've said it severally, and I'm going to say it again. History will tell if you do well or otherwise when you are in that very seat that you are occupying today. Because one of the major challenges we have around when it comes to the journey so far is that when it comes to the area of implementation, people that are being committed with the responsibility face the government. And many a time they are not being called to question. And that is why it seems as if the Nigerian project is neither going forward or backward.
So let me take you up from the place of the fact that, well, there has been some, implemented policies and all of that in the agricultural,
Yes.
sector. But then there's also been talk about, public-private partnerships. Have we seen a lot of that contributing to the agricultural development and food security in Nigeria?
Thank you. Now, again, I want to be very careful with my choice of word again, because I used to use this language because sometimes when you feel the boiling inside, you may be very careless in your choice of words. It's quite unfortunate. You see, the government of Nigeria established a bank called the Bank of Agriculture.
Okay. Bank of Agriculture?
Yes.
BOA.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, in this bank, they encourage farmers to come into the bank and get loan, soft loan, some medium, long term, and others. And at the point when men discovered that it wasn't working the way it should, the government brought in the issue of anchor borrowers. That the anchors we bring in some numbers of farmers, and I'm speaking from experience without any fear of contradiction. You can mention my name. I'm Comrade Elabia Isaiah. I'm well known across in many of our Bank of Agric branches, particularly in the southwest and in the north central here. Look, the anchor borrower program was one of the best policy we can have to ensure that the person, the list of Nigerian citizens, can have access to funding. But how was this handled? Many of these people, we are not going to mention, but they know them. Many of those are listening to me now. That many of these anchor borrower people who championed this policy collected the money, they never go farm. And that is why Macdoyee Food Security and Initiative decided that we are going to do our bit, and we are doing it by the grace of God. And we must ensure that I'm a practicing farmer. If you listen to my profile, if you started listening to my profile, I'm an agri I'm an agri consultant and trainer. And I just point to the way, like I said this here yesterday, that by the grace of God, we have where rich people on 21st century approachable way of farming. But unfortunately, when we have people who are having the opportunity today, again, the 26th year of our journey, has it been that we have not invested in agriculture? No, we have done. The government in a little bit, not massively. I give you my state. Somebody asked me, from the day I came from, it's also laughable that it was only 26 that was voted for agriculture in my state. And these are the challenges. And we must, and some of these governors that are doing beautifully well. We have one in Niger State here, who today is committed to ensure that the people of the state has something to put on their table as me. Macdoyee, what we are out for is food security. And I meant to say it is achievable. I will be going to the issue of partnership with the government. We are opened. I said it some times ago that we've written letters. Some of our letters have gone through all the 6 area councils. And by the grace of God, next week we'll be moving from point 1 to point B to follow up.
So what does this partnership seek to achieve?
Thank you. Now, what we seek to achieve, number one, is that, you see, when I nearly came into the FCT, I got a parcel of land that we are using today for for farming, and the elderly man, the elder that I got this little space from, he came to me. He said, "Do you know that today the government has a lot to do in the area of agriculture?" And I said, "How?" He said, "Do you know that many of our allocated site for farm are now being used for building of houses and all the rest, which is not supposed to be." That is why in the content of our letter, we made it very clear to all the 6 area councils that there is need for us to have clusters, not to stop each area council of having a farm clusters that they will provide input. That is the area of partnership that we're talking about. But if I'm using the opportunity to just speak up to the leadership in the area councils, that why don't you implement this and see how it works? Because we've tried it and it works. And that is why we are bringing it to the FCT. Nothing stops all these area councils to complement the good work of the government. Nothing stops the 774 local from having their farm clusters where you directly engage the youth. Yesterday I was speaking about youth and women participation in agriculture. You see, the largest percentage of Nigeria, they are youth. And at the point, I have to add the fact that sometimes youth is subject to your heart. Do you know that it is being a youth is not all about being between 18 to 30 or 40 thereabouts. Sometimes you may be older and yet you are youthful at heart to get involved in the business of agriculture. Right. And that is what we are out for. Macdoyee is simply open a leverage. What we are doing, we are opening a platform. I will give out my number shortly now. Right. I'll give out my number for you to call me direct. At the point I told Nigerians, what we are doing presently is to gather data of 2 groups of people. Number 1, the practicing farmers. Now, those are people that are into the business in the reasons of it. We want to see how we can be of help. I've discovered that many Nigerians go to business they don't know the integrity of. And there is no way you go to a business that you don't know much, that you are not well trained about, that you will not fail. Another area is that this issue of this psycho unreasonable kind of approach that I must get rich quick syndrome is a cankerworm that is killing our national life, and we have to deal with it, particularly in agricultural sector. Anybody that want to go to agri, you must be very sure that yes, it is profitable. All right. But you have to be very patient. The second group are those who are intending. Yes, I have mentioned it severally, and I'm going to give us some value chains. When I go to this partnership and the challenge that I of course somebody asked me, what about the challenge? What about this and that? I said there is no challenge that we are faced with in Nigeria that is much more, that is enough for us to give up in the better Nigeria. Nigeria is more than enough to feed ourselves. Then why are we importing? Sometimes when you hear about what is being imported to Nigeria, you will be ashamed of yourself. And I say, why? So and this is not limited. This is not peculiar to Nigeria.
Who do we blame for that? I mean, who do we blame for the importation?
Thank you. Now, many a times, it looks as if the government is responsible for many of these problems. But I'm able to tell you it is not. Do you know today, we are the enemy of ourselves?
In what way?
Thank you. For example, let me be very lame, let me be very practical and literal this time. Yeah. You see, somebody can go to Nasarawa State here, a very close neighbor to, a very close state, a neighboring state to the FCT here, and buy a farm produce, for example, for 30,000 naira. Let's assume the cost of transportation is 10,000 for bringing that produce to the market. You discover that person wants to sell that goods 80,000. That is the country we live in. For the point, Mr. President was asked on national TV about price control, and he said he's not going to go to that. Yes, I support that idea, but the fact remains that there has to be caution. There has to be some kind of restrictions about the way we treat ourselves. I think it's time in these 26 years of our uninterrupted democracy that Nigeria should love itself.
Okay. Well, let's just put a break to your thoughts now. You want to be a part of this conversation already. You're itching, to ask those very salient questions, especially you are one who is intending to be a farmer, or you are of the other category, the practicing farmer, and you have your challenges and your questions, and you want to know how to be a part of what Macdoyee Initiative is doing with regards bringing about a reformative change in the farming sector, where he has said we have no excuse, regardless of the challenges that we face. We don't have no excuse as to not being able to engage the agriculture sector and making meaningful and legit profits from. Well, the number would be 0907 353 0044. Call now and ask the question, or you call 0908 766 8888. You want to get to WhatsApp, it is 0909 705 4450. I'd like for you to also give out your number now, right? So that the family member listening now could just save that number and, of course, call you at a later time, maybe after the show immediately, and find out what to do, how to go about these processes.
Thank you. In Macdoyee Food Security and Sustainability, what we are doing presently, I said this yesterday, that our data collection is free for now, and everyone that will have is our data now, by the grace of God, they will be part of training for free.
Everyone, no, you should say that again slowly, because when I hear free, I like to hear it twice.
We are providing the training free for those
who
will have their data for now. All what you need to do, I'll call out my number now. If you don't have WhatsApp, there's no problem. If you're not on WhatsApp, there's no issue. Just use that little phone in your hand. Send your name, your location, and add your functioning number that you can be reached to. If we send message on SMS, we'll send on WhatsApp when the time comes. The number to call, this is my personal number, 080 62 21 7902. Again, 080 62 21 7902. The second number, 080 54 78 46 12. I call again. The number is 080 54 78 46 12. And if you want to come and meet us in our office, my office is opened every day from Monday to Saturday. On Monday, I'm in the office from 8 to 6 p.m. So you are free to come. My office in Pape Junction. Immediately you enter to Pape, the first morning you see a Winners Church signpost. At the back of that Winners Church is Faji Palace. That is where my office is. So all what you need to do is just send an SMS that carries your name, your location, and your active number. Now this, and you can also do that. The two numbers are WhatsApp number. You can also send your details on WhatsApp. Now that is by those who would be interested in our training. Now the second group of people that I want to mention are the practicing farmers. You know, I gave an example some time ago here on this program that one of the challenges we have is the way we manage the little space, that little 1 acre, 2 acres, 1 hectares of land you have, how to manage it. Because many a times, little crops in your hands, that is a specific, in the next time of it, there's a specific return that you are expected to get from every of those little 50 meter by 100 meter land you have, or an acre or hectare that you have. Now, many a times, when we are not well trained, particularly on the type of seedling or stem that is of high qualities and of high breed, that will give you a maximum return on your investment on that land. And I'm talking about farmers now, practicing farmers, there will be a mix-up. Number two, now as a livestock business owner, maybe you are into poultry, piggery, goatry, and all the rest. What you need to do is you just send your details to us, tell us your area where you are practicing. If it's livestock, mention livestock, then mention what exactly you are into. Now, we know how we can come in. Now, number two, I'm going to mention three categories of people. Number two are those who are intended farmers. I call them intended farmers because these are men and women that are actually interested in farming, but they don't know how to go about it. What you just need to do is, in another way, send an SMS or WhatsApp message to me, to those numbers. I'm going to call it again. Just be specific. I am Mr. So. This is my number. This is my location. This is where I am interested in. Then we know how we group you when the seminar will come up. By the grace of God, we bring professor from Federal University of Agriculture in Abeokuta. We bring lecturer from FECA, Federal College of Agric in Akure, and many other agric institutions in Ibadan and all the rest that will give us a 21st century approach. And the last group of people are those who want to partner with this project. Because I've discovered a lot of people who are outside the shore of Nigeria are interested in what Macdoyee Food Security Initiative is doing. Our door is open. You reach to us. Now, I said something. One of the challenges we have in this country of the world, I mean, in this country, is the issue of integrity. And I will be mentioning this. I'll be expatiating on this when it comes to the challenges we faced with. Because as a nation, one of the problems, which is the major issue we have, somebody asked me, Nigeria is corrupt. I said, yes, every human being has a tendency to be corrupt. Corruption is not limited to Nigeria. I am not defending corruption anyway, but one of the reasons why corruption is killing us as a nation is the problem of institutionalism. When institutions are not working properly, people attend to steal, and stealing massively will result to corruption that we are seeing. Sometimes some people ask, sometimes they go that what is the difference between recovery of loot and fighting corruption? I said that distinct differences between fighting corruption and recovery of loot. And I'm not going to go to that. These are part of the leadership trainings that will provide for people that will join. You discover that. See, today, if you put your closest ally in your business, the first thing that will come to his mind is that you want to start a company is because you have. A lot of people will tell me, because you are this, you are jumping from Suleja from Zuma FM to Positive FM to Adaba FM to Fresh FM. Now you are Eagles FM. I am able to say this by the grace of God. Nobody. It's been by the grace of God. And all the training. By the time you begin, when we begin to bring out facts and figures from our eyes, how far we have gone in this project by the grace of God. That is why at a point in time, I feel it is necessary that we bring the issue of partnership with the government. And by the grace of God, we are going to reach out to, I said this, somebody laughed at me. And I said, I'm not politicians, but everybody can agree with me that we have few ministers that are performing in this government. And we should give them kudos. I can mention 4 of them. And I'm not going to go to that anyway. Right. But there are about 4 or 5 ministries that are doing well, and Nigeria should celebrate them. And we are going to read to the FCT minister who is performing anyway about our project by the grace of God.
It's all right. Well, we'll look into the WhatsApp portal. We see a couple of messages now. This one coming from Emma, future president from Dutse, says, "Tell the man that what he brought on radio to enlighten Nigerians is a good one. But he should stop praising Tinubu." That's what he says. He said that is his brother. That his brother is not helping Nigerians. That's where he's coming from. All right, Emma Future says you are praising Mr. Tinubu. But I remember and I recall you saying that, look, we are on a journey, right? We are not there yet. And you've also made mention of an initiative that has been making, that made some sense. You mentioned the anchor borrowers and all of that. And you also said that the Macdoyee, security initiative is also an initiative that is to bridge the gap between people as well as enlighten the government, into partnership, that lasts, the type of partnership that should indeed be an all-inclusive, partnership and all of that. And well, I guess that could be an angle too.
Let me make something very clear, please.
Yeah.
Please, I want to say this objectively by the grace of God, that I'm not here to sing praise anybody.
Okay.
No. But the fact remains that if we still have a country called Nigeria today, we should celebrate ourselves. Many of us, particularly the young ones, may not know where we used to be. See, most of the things in the radio program this morning, when somebody said, there was an uninterrupted democracy, but interrupted this, interrupted that, I said, of course. But if we're to be some years back, try that. Maybe you will sleep on your bed. And that is what we are saying. I am not saying that the government, when we say government, Tinubu is just proven to be the head of that government. There are so many components, so many areas, so many agency, ministry, and department of government that forms what we are seeing today. So what I'm trying to say basically is that as Nigerians, we should not allow it to weigh down. We should celebrate ourselves. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So that is the clarity I'm trying to make here.
All right. You put it in perspective. Now let's go take this voice a note right now coming from yet another family member and see what he has to say, right? Oh, too sad. Okay, right, we'll take it now. I thought a call was coming through. I was going to say that is coming a bit late. But let's see, put the call through. Let's get to hear from you. I mean, the bottom line for this discourse will be about how to ensure that the agricultural sector does not die, how to ensure that there are innovations and initiative or platforms where you can indeed connect with that will help for you to also be a beneficiary from the many resourceful and profitable processes that agriculture can give to you, right? Enough of the waiting for the government. It's time that we also become the initiative and the innovation for the government as well. Let's go take this one now.
Good morning, presenter. This is Martins calling from Abuja, Cuba, to be precise. Well, happy Democracy Day, but at the same time, say this is not happy. This is poverty democracy.
Okay, let's this one should.
Good morning, presenter.
Okay, this
is Martins from Cuba. This is a message to the government. Our nation, Nigeria, agricultural sector, continue to face deep setback despite its vital role in food security and economic growth. It is disheartening that farmers still suffer from poor support, inadequate infrastructure, and limited access to modern tools and funding. This is my question. Why has the government failed to prioritize and invest substantively in agriculture, especially in the area of rural infrastructure and farmer financing, two critical factors for agricultural success? Question. These issues must be addressed. We are serious about ending human and building a strong economy. Thank you.
Some question right there you asked. Yes.
Now, let me quickly react to the very speedily because
time is already up.
And there are so many areas we still need to cover.
We might have that continuation for the areas we need to cover because of time. Yeah. Yes.
Now the issue is this: when you come to our training center, by the grace of God, that was why I said, see, what we are doing, Macdoyee, food security and sustainability, is not all about you having intention to go to farming business or you are a practicing farmer. No, what we do is to provide the leverage. Now, let me give us an example. Let me give an example. You see, if you walk into Bank of Agri today as an individual, the bank may not
take you seriously.
Take you seriously.
Is that it?
But what we do is that we put our farmers into clusters, into groups, and we register them as cooperative. Now we because the need of Group A differs from Group B. So when you come to our resource center, by the time you subscribe to our initiative, we put you to the right group where you will be helped. And in our training center, we'll bring financial institutions that will give you credit that will not kill you. Because one of the major problems is that we've got to a point in our national life that the interest rate is killing. And I wonder if there's any business that can thrive or do well under that circumstance. When you have double digit interest on loan. So what we do is that we have to look for an alternative. And that is why today I mentioned the government. I will go back to the government again. Today we have Bank of Industry. We have Bank of Agriculture. These two financial institutions will be readily available in our training center. to give enlightenment how farmers can go about it, because it's quite disheartening that many people today who have the access to get this government loan don't know the way to the farm. And that's why I keep insisting that it has to be practicing farmers. And when you come around, you will see what exactly what we are trying to do. And not only government institutions alone, we have development partners within Nigeria and outside the country. And you remember I said earlier that we have to start from somewhere.
Right.
We can't afford to fold our hands at the government is not doing anything. The government is not doing anything. Someone once said that if each one of us defend the wall of our city, the wall of the whole world will be defended, and that is what we are trying to do.
Okay, well, this message right here coming from Joseph from Dahi says, Tinubu is a president while the government is a system. Don't blame Tinubu for everything. Division of labor is to be used. That's what Joseph is saying right there and there. Okay, well, we should also hand it out. We should make it clear. This is very important now. You want to be a part of the Macdoyee Food Security and Agricultural Initiative, as being led with the wisdom of the CEO, Comrade Alabi Isaiah, right? Send an SMS that carries your name and active phone number to 0806 221 7902 or 0805 478 4612, right? Send an SMS that carries your name and active phone number. Is there any other thing? And your location. Okay, and your location.
And for those who are practicing farmer, please be specific.
Okay.
Which area do you want to go to? The livestock, mention the livestock in the real sense of it. Crop farming, mention where exactly you are practicing from.
All right, these are the numbers again: 0806 221 7902 or 0805 478 4612. Right? The conversation, I would like to ask my guest maybe just one final one. What would be the final thoughts? Okay, you want to get into? All right, you've had it. Okay, I just still wanted to give you this one. So you give us your final thoughts on this topical issue as we have discoursed today.
You see, again, I have a lot to
Yeah.
But what Macdoyee Food Security Initiative is doing.
Yeah.
Because one of the challenges we have is the communication gap, and that is why we are on the radio. Now we have to bring up this that get the mindset that's expected, because people will look at it and see what Macdoyee is doing. Somebody is somewhere. I've said it. I'm repeating it again by the grace of God. We have said it. I'm writing letter to all the area councils. By the grace of God, God's grace, will be going to the office of the Minister of Agriculture, both for the substantial and of the state for agriculture, and of course we'll be working to the FCT minister and not the neighboring state, because one thing is very clear. A very inclusive atmosphere here that agriculture, business of agriculture can do well. And of course we've started it 2 locations, and of course we are seeing we're having a kind of assurance that it's going to very, very productive. Now, having said that, I want to go from the fact that there are challenges, and that is challenges we are faced with as a farmer, which at times I choose not to speak on, is the issue of security. Now, I choose not to speak on the issue of security because it's a national issue.
Right.
And life demands a national approach. Several times I said, I believe in state police, but because we haven't gotten to that level, I think it is important that the issue of a national security life is exclusively in the exclusive list. So we have to restrict ourselves from it. And I want to be very sure by what I want to say before I come out to say this, that farming is our pride as a nation. An individual, every Nigerian can be involved in it.
Okay.
It's not until you buy a tractor, you you go to the backside of the desert to bring farm produce, before you can be a farmer. There are men who are white collar farmers, who are mushroom producers. And when you see these people, when they tell you they are farmers, you think they work with Symbian. So now farming is very, very lucrative, and we cannot afford to shift our eyes from it.
All right, farming is very lucrative and you can't afford to shift your eyes from it. The Macdoyee Food Security Initiative and Comrade Alabi Isaiah's expertise. In fact, these two can provide valuable insight into Nigeria's agricultural development and even the role of private partnerships. By exploring the challenges and opportunities in the sector, we can identify ways to promote sustainable agricultural practices as well as ensure food security in Nigeria, which is doable. It is doable. It is doable. It is doable. Thank you so much, Comrade Alabi Isaiah, for this discourse. I mean, you always have a lot to say, and I'm looking forward to the next when you will tell us, some more about this. I know somebody's listening, and that person probably is waiting for the next edition before he or she gets, very neck deep into this. But I would advise you, I know that you're listening right now, that look, you get his number and you call him right now after the show and find out how you can indeed also be a part of the agricultural sector prosperity, which of course has numerous benefits. The number once again is 0806 221 7902 0806 221 7902 or 080